Here's what no one tells you about making money as a teenager. You don't need a lot of money to get started. Contrary to popular belief, right? People always say you need money to make money. Well, as a teenager, you probably, unless your family is well off, you really don't have, you may not have the money and resources that you think you would need to start a business. But I'm here to tell you that this is the best way, well, one of the best ways to try and make money as a teenager. And you have to remember that you're young. So take chances, right? You don't have a house, you don't have kids, so you don't have a car, you don't have loans. I don't think not yet, but for most cases you don't. So you're young, take chance. Now is the time to take chances, because if you mess up, you still have time to try and recover and recuperate, get that money back. But what we're going to discuss today is something that doesn't take a lot of money and you can do that will help build a long-term asset, right? Now, when you talk about asset, people mostly think about real estate, right? Like tangible assets, but you can also do digital assets, right? Stuff that's online. So websites, maybe your social media profiles, you can create that into an asset and monetize that and sell that into the future. So there's all different things that you can do to make money as a teenager. And keep in mind, this is not a get rich quick scheme, right? So this is not something where you can do and make a lot of money and get rich. If you need money right away and you're in dire needs for money, then the best thing to do is go get a job. But other than that, even if you have a job, you don't have a job, this is something you can do that will help you build towards your future, so that you may not make money right now, but you're building towards building your future self, right? So my name is Ross. I'm with Cogent Apparel. I'm the business development manager there. So please like and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to grow it, and we're not only creating content for businesses that we do business with, B2B, but we're also creating a series for young entrepreneurs, people that are looking to grow their business, grow their brand, and make money off of it. So that when you get to your college and beyond, you're already in a position of making money. So please like and subscribe and share the video so that we can start to grow. All right, so the one that we're going to talk about today is what I call rank and make bank. This was not style, but this was a term coined back in the early 2000s, maybe mid 2010s, when what rank and make bank means is you rank your website and then you make money off of it, right? And so there's plenty of ways to do it, and we're going to discuss that here today. But the past was all about SEO, which is search engine optimization. And so you would create a website, you would rank it in Google, right? Because Google was the only thing back then. And you would sell the leads or rent out the website to businesses and make money that way. And in fact, that's the way that I actually started. I ranked websites for a certain industry, and that industry has since changed, and we'll go over that a little later. And so when you used to click on, or when you used to search in Google for this industry in Las Vegas, I had 6 or 7 different websites. They all appeared different companies, but they were actually all the same. And so we would rank in the top. I want to say all of them were ranked in the top 10, but we were ranked pretty good up there, to where if you were to call a company randomly off a Google research result, highly likely that you may have called us. So that's something that we did when I was younger. So I know this works, but now you don't necessarily need to do SEO. You can do social media, right? So you can do TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. You can also generate leads that way. But let's go over this. And again, the main thing is you're trying to create a digital asset, not like a real estate asset, but something that will make you money, online, right? In the online world. And I know the next question is why aren't my teenagers doing it, right? So I have two teenagers, a son who's in college right now, who actually got monetized on YouTube in high school, and he's actually playing in college now. He's playing soccer in college, and we're actually working on a platform. Shameless plug here, but we're actually working on a platform that will help both NIL students with their merch stores, and we also are working on a general store where content creators and everyone else will be able to have their own merch store. So we're working on that. That's coming up really, really soon. We're pretty much done with it, and we're getting ready to launch that. And my daughter has her own brand, right? So that's States Royalty. We actually create content for that station as well. And she's right now we're starting off the merch, but she's also branching off. Next year, we're looking into getting into swim, right? States Royalty Swim, where we do bikinis and swimwear, and we're also looking into expanding into makeup and beauty products. So that's something that they're working on. So if this is something that they could do, I probably would make them do it, but they're working on their own thing. So that's the reason why you won't see them doing this. But this does work if you put your time into it. It's not a great get-rich-quick scheme. It's something that you have to really work on. Okay, so step by step, the first thing you need to do in this rank and make bank is you need to choose your niche. Now, back in the day when I was doing this, people would never really talk about their niche. They would never give up their niche, right? Niche is where the genre, okay? So, whether that's healthcare, fitness, finance, right? That's your niche. So the best niche for this would be the trades, right? So electricians, plumbers, landscapers, things of that nature. And the reason why those are the best is because they make money, right? They make good money, and they're very technical in their field, but they're not necessarily really good, I found, in marketing, right? So they're very good in their field, but they know really nothing about marketing. And back in the day when I was doing this, they would just do ads, or even a long time ago, they would just do yellow pages. That's kind of how their mentality is, right? Or billboards. And that's another thing too, is anything that you see that's on a billboard, any kind of, again, not the person, but the industry, right? So like in Las Vegas, we see a lot of attorney billboards. And so that's another good genre to hit, because again, you want someone that makes some good money, but is so specialized in their craft that they don't necessarily know anything about marketing. And their idea of marketing is just putting an ad in the paper, paying for some ads. They're not doing content. They're not doing social media, because their business relies on word of mouth and all that other stuff. So again, trades will be the best genre for you to get into. And once you do that, you do get a generic name. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you I used to do bail bonds, right? So when you typed in bail bonds Las Vegas or Las Vegas bail bonds, and bail bonds was really good because back then, a lot of people that got arrested, most of them don't know how bail bonds works, right? I didn't, right? Unless you know someone or you've been arrested yourself, you don't know how bail bonds works. What the intricacies are, what you need to do, how does it work, how much do you pay, all that stuff. So it's very informational. So if someone gets a call saying, hey, my boyfriend, girlfriend, son, daughter, whatever, got arrested, brother, sister, has been arrested, what do you do, right? Do you go down to the jail? Do you do this? Do you do that? You don't know. So the first thing most people do is starting to search online. And so eventually they would come to the term bail bonds. and they would figure out, what do I need to do to bail my whoever out of jail. And so this was a very good industry because it was really reliant on people searching, because unless they knew how it works, they don't need to search online. They already probably have their person. But for the majority of it, where you don't have people that know what they're doing in terms of bail bonds, then it's good. It was a good industry. But I believe now, from what I've heard, I've been out of it for a while from bail bonds, but I believe now you need to have a insurance license or some kind of license. And so that's something you also have to look into before you choose a niche is, do I need a license to provide marketing services for this industry? And so that's something you want to look into before you get started. But okay, so let's go to find out, first of all, come up with a generic name. Don't come up with, a specific name. Try and make it, I've always tried to make it brandable nationwide. There's two ways you can do it. You can do something where, mycityplumbing.com, right? And so you can do it that way, or you can come up with a generic name. I've always liked to come up with a generic name, nothing with someone named, so not John Smith's plumbing.com, but something more general that can be branded nationwide. But that's really up to you. The main thing is that you check, once you come up with a name, you check their websites and the domain name, and you also check the social media. So if you were to look up John's Plumbing, I'm sure that's probably taken all over TikTok, all over YouTube, Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's probably registered as a domain name. So you want to check all that to make sure that the name you come up with is good. And if you want to go even further, you can check to make sure it's not trademarked. After that, work on getting a Google number. Okay, so Google gives you a free phone number that will route to your cell phone cell phone, right? I was going to say house phone, but not everyone really has that anymore. But so it'll route to your cell phone, because you don't want to put your cell phone on the page. You want to put a different phone number. And there's reasons for this that we'll get into, but so you want to get a Google phone number. It's free, and that'll route to your cell phone number, and you use that number to put onto the website and social media for people to call. After that, once you check all the domain names, get a domain, buy a domain, get some hosting. Again, it's really cheap. We're actually doing a video on how to get a free domain or free website. We'll link to that video. But get a domain. You can also go to namesilo.com. If you use the term special pricing at namesilo.com, you get a small discount, and we're an affiliate for that. But get the website, get your domain going, and just build a simple website. Not a big deal. All right, and then you want to also build your social media account. Now, I suggest you focus on one, and it really just depends on what the brand or the genre is, right? So if it's a clothing brand, you may want to think about, Instagram and whatnot. But if it's like in the trades, like I said, I'm not sure. You want to do some research on which social media platform would be best. All right. So after you create all that and you start, again, I'm really oversimplifying this, but you start doing SEO. But if you're really trying to build it off the social media, which a lot of people are doing, then you have to just create content, whether that's faceless content or whatever, written content. That's another thing you need to consider when you're choosing which social media platform to use. But the main thing is you want to start getting eyeballs, you want to start getting the attention, and you want to start being able to rank and get people to actually call in to the phone number to get whatever service that you're providing. Okay, so after you can do all that, and again, we'll have videos about how to do all that later on. This is just a summary of what you can do. So after that, comes the fun part, right? You monetize it. So there's a couple of different ways you can monetize. What I used to do is, because I had so much, we would rent out the site completely to a bail bonds company. And so they would pay us X amount of dollars per month for a 6-month contract, 1-year contract. And they would we would put their phone number on the leads, or because we had Google numbers, we could forward the Google number. So when the person called from the website, it would just be automatically forwarded to their phone, right? So Google number, you can change the phone number that it forwards to. And so, back then we used to also use third-party apps where we would have a bank of phone numbers, and we could just assign which number is forwarded to which. So we would just forward this website's phone number to this company, and this second website company to a different company. And they would all know about it. It's nothing, we weren't hiding the fact, but where it ranked would be the amount that, the difference that we would charge. But that's one way to do it. You could also do pay per lead. So what other people would do would be, they get one website and they take in the lead. Let's just say it's plumbing, and someone's house got flooded, right? So they call a plumber, and what they do is they take the information, right? The person will actually take the information, and then they'll call 10 different companies and say, hey, I had this person call. Here's the situation. The house flooded. Here's their phone number. Here's their address. And here's what they're looking for. And then you would charge $10, $20, $30, whatever it is, per company per lead. So if you had 5 companies that you were fanning the leads out to, and you were making $20 a lead, every lead that comes in, you're making $100. And it's up to the company to call the customer and sell their service to the customer, right? Once you give them the lead, it's up to them now to close the sale. And so that's kind of the 2 ways that you can do it. Of course, later on, after you build it, and this is why I say this, you have to consider this a long-term asset, because you could actually sell it. And what I used to do too is, and I still do this today, is we have this one industry where we're partners with the owners, right? So not partners per se in the business, but we're not partners in the business, but we would get the lead, where we get so many leads that we get a revenue split, is a better term. We're revenue split for all the leads that we bring into them. So that's something you can do. Again, that's a long-term thing. We've been in it forever. And so it's something that just keeps going. So that's why I say build something that's a long-term, not going to be get rich quick, just something long-term that you can do. All right. Again, this is where we're talking about building the brand, building the asset, right? And you can also, once you build the brand, you can I've seen some people that have actually gotten into the business because they're so successful at building this brand and building this company that people think that it's a real company. And so all they do is they found someone that can do it, and they truly partnered with them and built a company from that. So you can do that. Of course, you can sell it for, I don't know how many multiples, but you can sell that as well. So there's different things you can do. But again, this is a very simple outline of one way to make money as a teenager. And again, this isn't going to be the great rich quick scheme, but if you can start now and start building multiple assets in multiple industries, right? So one plumbing, one electrical, one car wash, one, whatever, right? Roofing, landscaping, everything. And so you build a bank of 8 to 10 different industries and different assets. you have a little coming in from each one, right? And you can decide how you want to monetize that later. So, and then lastly, if you do that and you need to make some money, call us, because we're also investing in certain niches. So if you do have one that you've built in and it's clean, it's not, you're not spamming it, you're not doing anything that's negative, call us, and, we may be interested in purchasing that as well. But anyway, again, this is just a quick recap of and a summary of what you can do to work to build a long-term asset. And again, get rid of get rich quick schemes out of your mind. Again, if you need money, go get a job, but this will be a great way to build something that you can continue to profit from, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, and even longer, depending on how good you brand it and how strong it is and how authentic it is, right? So again, thank you for watching this video. I hope, and that's our goal. That's my goal. My goal is to show my kids, obviously, but also all the teenagers, that you can make money, right? Don't become this where you keep making excuses, right? Go out and build yourself something and be successful at it and live a good life, right? Life is hard, so build a good life and try and be happy. So anyway, thank you for watching. Again, please like and subscribe. We're trying to build the channel. So comment your question below if you have any questions, and let us know what you're thinking. We'll definitely make videos on that. And we also got a bunch of videos coming up that will go more in depth about everything that we talked about. So we'll give you basically step-by-step instructions on how to do it.